Welcome to From That Comes This. I'm your host, Rebecca Foster, and this is a space where we talk about the various moments that shape us, the hard ones, the beautiful ones, and the ones we maybe don't fully understand until much later on. We explore resilience, courage, and the quiet strength that grows within us through our lived experiences. Today's guest truly is a bright star, and when I was looking over her bio online, I couldn't fit it all in. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce to all of you, and many of you in the local Hamilton community know this magnificent human being, Lohifa Pogoson Acker. Did I get the pronunciation close?
You sure did. That's right.
Okay.
Correct. On
all right.
point.
You are, I'm going to condense this like pages and pages of a biography.
As you please.
Well, you are an award-winning community leader, and community builder. And we're going to dive into what that means a little bit later in the podcast. You're an entrepreneur.
Yes.
You're a hair artist.
I am.
I love that title.
Thank you so much.
And your hair is gorgeous.
Thank you so much.
You're a speaker.
I am.
A consultant.
Yes.
You're based here in Hamilton.
Love this city.
You ran politically, which we're going to touch on.
Yes, ma'am.
Locally, municipally.
Yes.
You have so many experiences.
I do.
Here in Hamilton.
Yes.
But you're not from Hamilton originally.
No, I'm not.
Okay, give us the lowdown on you, Lohifa.
I certainly can. So I come to Hamilton by way of Vancouver, BC, London, England, and Lagos, Nigeria, where I was born.
Wow.
And I love this city. I landed here because my parents moved here from Vancouver.
Okay, and how old were you when they made the move to Hamilton from Vancouver?
I was in my 20s. That was 2012. So they moved from Vancouver. I was in my 20s.
Okay.
I'd come back to live in Canada from working overseas. And I moved to Vancouver, of course, but it didn't make sense staying in Vancouver, finally being in the same country, but on different coasts, because they were going to come here. They wanted to be closer to travel to see family in the UK and family in Nigeria. And I'm sure you know it's a 10-hour haul from Vancouver to London.
Yeah.
And you get sick of doing that flight, and then another 6-7 hours, depending on the wind, to Nigeria. So
they
just needed, and plus they wanted to explore other parts of this country, of Canada. And so they thought, we're going to Ontario. And so they came to Hamilton, and I followed. They did, yes.
So what about Hamilton? I always like to ask guests this if they're from outside of the Hamilton area originally. I myself am not from Hamilton originally, but a little further southwestern Ontario. What was it about Hamilton that brought them here?
I remember my mom saying Hamilton is humble. Ooh. And she just wanted to be in a humble city where people just cared about each other. And
incredible.
Yeah, and I think that still applies to this day, because that's what I found when I arrived about a few months, probably about 5 months after they did, was a humble city with people just loving each other, being kind to each other, recognizing and seeing each other. You don't get that in very busy, bustling cities.
Wow.
You don't get that attentiveness.
Yeah.
There was a certain level of attentiveness here that I didn't find in Vancouver, I didn't find in Toronto.
And you felt that?
I felt it here, yes.
Right away?
Yeah, I felt it right away, yeah. People cared. People would look you in the eye and say hi, even if they didn't know you. People connected in a different way. And I see that still to this day. Hamilton's so small. I say there's 2 degrees of separation in this city.
Truly.
6 everywhere else, 2 in Hamilton.
Amazing. So
and you know this. I mean, look at how you and I even connected, right? And all the people we have.
It's the circles we travel in.
Jordan Arms and Knees. Shout out to Jordan Arms and Knees.
He's always getting a shot. We're gonna
of course. I love that guy. He's so funny.
You're going to have to appear on camera at some point, Jordan. Arms and Knees.
Yes.
He's the producer of this show, and he does so many wonderful things for the community. He's a comedian. Everyone knows Jordan.
Everyone knows
And Lohifa,
Jordan.
Likewise. Pretty much everyone in town knows you. Okay?
More so now since I ran for politics.
All right. But before we get to the political aspirations that you had, and I admire you for doing that.
Thank you so much.
Because that takes courage. Right. That takes leadership. I'm sure there was some fear involved in putting yourself out there.
Yeah, I'm generally fearless, so no.
Never fearful?
No.
Fear doesn't push you forward?
No.
Amazing.
No,
okay.
yeah.
There's a whole other side here. So before your schooling, I want to talk a little bit about that because you are so multifaceted, my friend.
I guess so.
You did a biopsychology and
neuroscience, economics. Yes. I was going to go become a doctor. That was my goal. I loved the idea of health and healing, and I was getting a lot of my friends, my really good friend, shout out to Navi, he's a doctor today. We had dreams of going into medicine and healthcare and becoming doctors. And after my degree, I just realized that biomedicine wasn't speaking to me anymore. I was more interested in community. I was more interested in alternative ways of knowing about health and healing. And so I decided to go the public health route. And that's what I did.
So when wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so coming to Hamilton,
right.
You started your career here doing...
Well, so after university, I actually went to work overseas, doing work in public health and international development, working with communities to strengthen their health systems.
Okay.
Yeah, I enjoyed that, did that for many years, and then I came back to Canada and moved to Hamilton. And in Hamilton, I worked at St. Joe's Healthcare in the Integrated Comprehensive Care Program, helping seniors age in place successfully. Loved that job, did that for a few years, and then I ventured to entrepreneurship.
Okay, that you have a very big heart.
Thank you.
anyone that meets you or sees you online can absolutely feel that energy and that positivity.
Thank you so much.
What you did with seniors, for example,
for sure.
Your heart must have
100%.
broken, must have been full.
100%. As a matter of fact, the reason I took the job was the same reason I left the job. So culturally, and you and I were speaking about this a bit earlier, culturally, we don't have seniors' homes in Nigeria. We don't have long-term care homes in Nigeria because your kids take care of you when you're old. You go live with your children. You invest in your children so they can invest in you in your old age, right? But it's not the same here in Canada. I found when I came here, there's a certain level of disconnectedness, I find, when it comes to the elderly. In other cultures, elders are embraced. They are revered. There's an African proverb that says an elder is like a library, and so when they pass, it's like a library burns down because you lose a lot of stories, a lot of knowledge, a lot of information, a lot of context. And so I didn't find that North American environment really revered elders.
No, it doesn't. Lohifa, sadly.
Right. Exactly. And so I brought my cultural lens to my work, right? Where I really put my foot in it, and I wanted to make sure that the people that I served were seen and loved and cared for. The idea that you would be in your 80s and 90s, have given birth to kids, had raised kids, seen them through school and life, and then one or two things happen and they decide they don't want to talk to you anymore. So I dealt with a lot of elders and seniors who had kids that didn't speak to them and therefore had grandkids who they never met, great-grandkids who had no idea that they existed. That blew my mind.
How did you process that? You're in the thick of it. You're loving these people that are not your blood relatives.
Yeah, so that's why I eventually left the job, by overextending myself was how I did that, right? Wow. I had a lot of grandmas and a lot of grandpas that I adopted through my work, and I loved it. I loved it very much because I understand things happen with families and there might be a lot of context that I'm not privy to, but at the end of the day, we're all human.
Right.
I'm a woman of faith. I believe in forgiveness, and sometimes forgiveness looks different to different people, but I feel, especially when people are at the end of their lives, there's no need to carry. It's not yours to carry. If you've been hurt by someone, there's no need to carry the heaviness of unforgiveness, right? And so I just overextended myself really to a lot of the loneliness that I saw in the elderly community here in Hamilton. And at that time, I was a young mom. I had both my kids while on the job at St. Joe's. So my kids were 2 and 4 when I left. Yeah. And I just thought, okay, you know what? We had a nanny at the time, God bless her, Ebony. And, I would joke that she was mom and I was assistant mom because, this is what we struggle with,
This is
right?
what we do here in this country.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I just, I knew I wanted to be more present with my family, with myself, and in my community. It
Yes.
mattered to me, and I was doing that, but only within the seniors context and the work context, right? And
You say only, but that's a massive undertaking.
more focused, yes.
Yeah.
And I wanted to extend myself to the larger community, but also at home.
Yeah.
And that's why I chose to step away from my job. And I'm glad I did.
Well, thank you for the time you put in. Those
Thank
were
you.
very
Thank
lucky
you so
families,
much. Thank
I
you.
can say, that got to experience your joy
Thank you
and
so
your
much.
heart.
And vice versa, I was so blessed by, and like I said, going back to that proverb, right? Elders, they've lived life. I'm talking 8, 9 decades of life, 7 decades of life, all of the wisdom and the knowledge and the expertise and the jokes.
Yeah.
I was very blessed. It was mutually beneficial. I was very blessed by all the people that I served, and I hope I was able to bless them as well.
And I know you were. Absolutely, without a doubt in my mind.
Thank you.
And thank you for sharing that, because we are very different from a cultural perspective,
sure.
from a Canadian
Very much so.
standard when
Very
it
much
comes
so.
to our elders. And
Yeah.
and I don't know how we got to here, but the way you speak about this is so beautiful. And I hope that everyone here with elder parents or elder
so.
family members
Yeah.
can take a little part away
I
from
hope so.
that.
They're not here forever.
Exactly.
They're here today, gone tomorrow.
Exactly.
And while they're here, we should celebrate them, embrace them, love on them, and learn from them.
Learn from them.
Absolutely.
They have lots of knowledge
For sure.
and experience
Without
and
a doubt.
wisdom
Yes.
to bless us with. So
Absolutely.
when it comes to elders in Nigeria,
Yes,
we talked about you would never, because my kids will say my name sometimes instead of mom. And you said
And I said instant death.
instant death. What? Tell me more. What happens?
Well, it's just in most African cultures, and I think this just doesn't apply to Africa. I think South American cultures, Asian cultures. You there's a certain level of respect that exists. It's poignant in these cultures, and part of actualizing and embodying that respect is in the way you address someone. So, if say an average Nigerian kid were to walk into this room, they would say, "Good morning, Ma," or "Good morning, Miss Rebecca," or "Good morning, Mrs." They would not call you by your first name,
Ever.
or they would say, "Good morning, Auntie," even if you're not related.
Okay, tell me where does that come from?
It just comes from mentally recognizing that the person you're referring to is older than you and deserves respect. And that is the way you address someone is a marker and a reminder of how to engage them. So if I'm here saying, Rebecca Bex, I'm more likely to say, "Shut up, Rebecca." But "shut up" and "auntie" don't go too well together, do they?
No, they do not.
All right. Or
Right.
"shut up, Mrs." Don't go to, So I think it's really just that positioning of helping young people understand respect and understand what respect can look like when you're dealing with different people and different individuals.
Now, someone might argue that respect is not granted; it's earned.
We could talk about this all day.
Well, we just might.
I think this is my take, okay? And I do agree that respect is not granted, it's earned. But at the point of initial contact, the way you choose to engage says a lot about you. So I would always lean towards offering respect first to everybody at all times. And if you show me that you don't deserve it, I will switch up, is what I do.
Yeah.
I will always respect
you.
myself.
Yep.
I will respect you.
There is a
But
positive message.
100%.
Yeah,
But if you
thank
disrespect me, it's not going to be a fine day.
But I think we've become a society that doesn't offer the respect right away
For sure.
or kindness
Right.
to a fellow
Right.
human
Right.
being,
Right.
right? Do you find that?
Yes, I think in many ways, I think we've become very tolerant of bad behavior, very tolerant of abuse,
Yeah.
very tolerant of unkindness and meanness, right? And I'm not proud of where we've come in that sense. I see a lot of this in our young kids, and I'm sure it's because they see it in the adults around them, and they embody it as their reality. I'm very hopeful that can still change in many ways, and I think it requires a lot of mindfulness on the parts of those of us who are older and adults, how we engage with young people, because I talk about that respect that goes, bottom up, right? Younger people respecting old people, and vice versa is just as important. Older adults and adults in general need to respect themselves and earn the respect of people and respect everyone, including their younger counterparts, right? So in cultures where there are adults who expect respect, you have to give respect as well.
Absolutely.
I'm a huge proponent of that, for sure.
Amazing. So you have 2 children.
I have 2 children, yes.
And they
my son Miles.
Miles.
Mhm.
Hi, Miles.
Hi, Miles, and my daughter Aoife.
Aoife.
Yes.
Does that ever get mixed up, Lohifa, Aoife?
Not really. So Lohifa, my full name is Lohifa.
Okay.
It's from
Lohifa.
Lohifa.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Lohifa. Yes. It means one who God will not forsake. My
By virtue of your very presence.
Thank you so much. I just shared that on Instagram this morning, actually.
Did you? I missed that, but that's beautiful.
No, that's okay. So I'm blessed. I was lucky enough to have my first name as my Instagram name. So my Instagram name is Lohifa, which is like Beyonce, Oprah.
Yeah, right up there. Lohifa is,
one of one. So I'm really grateful for that. So my dad is my family tribe is Ora from Edo State in Nigeria, and my name is an Ora name, so it means one who God will not forsake. But everybody calls me Lohifa since I was young. Everyone's called, because the O's are different sounds, so people sometimes confuse it.
Right.
When I was in high school, sometimes people called me Olohifa, Olahifa. I've gotten Aloha, I've gotten Latifa.
And you just
so
answer
Lohifa,
hello.
I correct them.
Do you?
Girl,
Good.
always. Okay. No, my grandfather named me. That name is precious. So you're gonna get it right or don't get it at all.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love
absolutely.
that. So
no, I do.
Your
and
daughter.
So my daughter's name, Aoife, Aoife. It's Gaelic.
Oh.
Right. Mm-hmm. It's pronounced Aoife, the Irish in
Okay.
their names. It's pronounced Aoife, but it's spelled Aoife.
Gorgeous.
And my husband's of Canadian, Irish heritage and German and
All
British.
kinds of-
yes.
yeah.
So it sounds the same, but very different spelling, very different backgrounds, very different origins. Yeah.
And your children were born here.
They're born
in
here at
Hamilton.
St. Joe's.
At St. Joe's, right.
At St. Joe's.
But you're obviously, both you and your husband have
Yes.
many different things to bring into
do.
the upbringing for your
Absolutely.
kids,
We do.
right?
Oh, definitely.
So what we
Definitely.
just talked about,
Right.
the respect and treating people the way you would like to be
Right.
treated,
For
and
sure. For sure.
do they struggle with that with other
Well,
peers?
yeah. So I think I'll tell you in my household, for instance.
Okay, please.
What you explained to me, where your kids will sometimes call you
Rebex,
right?
yeah.
So my husband called his uncle, his late uncle, his name was Bud. I called him Bud instead of Uncle Bud. And the first time I heard that, I was like, what is going on here? It was a full body reaction.
I
was
can
like,
tell.
Excuse me. But for him, that's he was used to that. He grew up doing that,
Right.
And so he would be more lenient and accepting of that from our kids.
Okay.
My daughter and my husband have the same name, so one of her middle names is Devon, and my husband is named Devon. And so sometimes my daughter would want to play around and say, "Oh, Devon," and I say, not here. It's daddy.
Okay.
It's daddy always. So I think in many ways, because we grew up differently, because something like that is accepted in his household, and in because if she dares said Devon in front of my parents.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Or other family member, I couldn't protect her. I'd be out of the room because they get me too.
They would come right for you.
Absolutely, 100%. I'm the mom. But I think it's so beautiful because no matter how you choose to raise your kids, it's important to give them perspective so that they can see what the world is like outside of your home, as opposed to having a very linear idea of life and of the world. And I bless my parents so much for giving me that opportunity to raise me around different people from different backgrounds on different continents. I'm very thankful for that. That really shaped my world perspective, and I'm hoping to do the same for my kids.
Well, I know you are, and you're doing it for so many
Thank
other
you, thank
people,
you,
Lohifa,
thank you,
which
thank you
is
so
a
much.
beautiful part of your community connection.
Thank
so
you,
let's
thank
kind of
you.
jump.
All
It
right,
sounds like
let's
you have
do
a
it.
beautiful family, and hopefully I get to meet meet them at some
Yes,
point.
I do.
They are lucky to have you
Thank you
as
so
their
much.
fearless leader.
Thank you.
But when it comes to the community
Right.
and community connections, once you left St. Joe's, you
Right.
obviously met many
I
people
did.
in the community.
Of course.
What-
Even through my work.
Of course,
I did,
of course.
yes.
And you would have touched so many lives.
For sure.
Not just the seniors, but families and friends. And,
Right.
and so you're already, without realizing it, probably at the time, building this extended community. So then
Yes.
you take this to the next level.
Yes.
What comes next for you? You're an
Right.
entrepreneur.
I am, yes. So because I realized that, when in leaving St. Joe's, I wanted to do work that kept me grounded and present. And I've always loved hairstyling. Hairstyling for me is my art form. That's why I call myself a hair artist and not a hair stylist. I offer a style, but my style is art. And I only do pattern styling. That's my niche focus. I can do everything else, but I focus only on pattern styling with textured hair. So braids, cornrows, twists, locks, crochet styles. That's what I do.
Thank you
like
for
to-
explaining that for
Of
everyone.
course.
So, yeah.
I like to weave hair and make art out of it. I really enjoy it. I've done it since I was 4 years old.
I was going to say, is
Yes.
this a long time love of yours?
Long time. I styled my mom's hair for the first time when I was probably about 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And my mom is very prim and proper. She worked with a huge firm. She's a lawyer. And when she took it to work, I was like, okay, that gave me all
You
the
knew.
confidence. I knew I made it.
This was your calling.
I made it. And so I've always done it. I went to boarding school. I styled all my girlfriends at boarding school. When I was 16 in Vancouver, I was working out of my parents' garage styling hair. And then I worked in a few salons in downtown Vancouver and Burnaby. And when I moved to Hamilton, I was styling hair out of my basement while I worked full time.
You just cannot sit still, can you?
I sometimes can if there's a good movie on and great food.
Okay. Well, the food, yes, I'm with you there, and a good film is always a bonus. But you do have to decompress sometimes.
Oh, for
so
sure. That's how I decompress, by
Is-
styling. Yeah,
by styling,
getting my
okay.
hands in, and that's what it was for me. Is getting my hands in hair is very therapeutic for me. I love it so much. But also, what happens during that styling moment, that period of connection between you and whoever you're serving. I don't know what your relationship is with your stylist, but I'm sure you're close to your stylist.
Yes,
You
I
share
think
a
it's
lot.
almost like a therapy
It is.
session,
It absolutely
right?
is. They know a lot about you.
more than they want to know sometimes, right, Lohifa? But
You just open up.
what a privilege for you, though, for
Yes.
people to trust.
Yes, I wanted that.
Yeah.
I wanted that. I wanted
Shocking.
to be able to connect in that way.
The connectivity
Yes.
is always
I
there
wanted
for
that.
you.
And so it was the lowest hanging fruit for me, and it made sense, low startup costs because I started styling out of my home, really.
Right.
And then I worked in TV and film quite a bit in Toronto. So when I wasn't styling out of my home or popping up at salons in Hamilton, then
You were doing things
I was
on
doing-
set?
Yeah, I worked. I
Wow.
styled for Canada's Drag Race season 1 right here in Hamilton.
way.
Yes, I did. Yeah, that was one of my first gigs. I styled for a few shows, different productions, Netflix, Cook at All Costs. I did that too. Yeah,
Wow.
I've touched some important heads.
And we won't get into details of whom, but that is remarkable. And
I'm
so,
grateful for it.
again, I'm not
grateful.
surprised
I'm
when you
grateful
share
for it.
this.
I'm grateful for it.
You just have this. You are so talented,
Thank you
Lohifa.
so
I'm
much.
so grateful
Thank
that
you
you
so
came in
much.
to share this with us
I'm
today.
grateful that I'm here.
So your
Thank you.
business, your hair artistry,
Right,
what do
exactly.
we call your business?
So that business was called LoDidThat.
Okay.
Yes.
And you are still
Yes, I still style.
Lo is still doing that.
100%. Oh,
Okay.
Lo's still doing that.
Lo's
She'll
still
stay
doing
doing that.
Okay.
She'll stay doing that. My sister and my brother gave me that name for my business.
I love
and I
it.
thank them so
I
much.
hope you
It's gonna
thanked
be-
them.
I do. I really do. I love my siblings very much. I'm in the middle. So I have an older sister and a younger brother. And they're so cool.
Very cool.
Yes.
And are they in Hamilton?
No, my sister is in Las Vegas and my brother's in Toronto.
Wow.
Yeah, we've
Close
always been
enough,
spread
but-
out. Yeah,
yeah.
we've always, as a family, we've just kind of.
But you're still close
Very
and-
close.
yeah.
Very, very close. My sister was here knocking on doors with me throughout my campaign. Yeah, she
Okay.
took time off her commitments and work to come and come and do that work with me. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll talk about that later.
We will talk about that. You've had this entrepreneurial spirit inside you since you were 4.
Yes.
I can tell. Like probably the day you arrived on the planet is she's gonna do great things, and you have, and you are, and you continue to do that.
Thank you so much.
So on top of that, you speak at events.
Yes, I do. Yes, I love to speak. I also MC and host. Yes.
Oh, you would be a riot to have as an MC.
I generally am.
Yes, you are. See, it's the joy that you bring.
Thank you.
You are also very, very involved in a lot of different, and to list them all, different community initiatives, not-for-profit organizations.
so,
I know
yes.
you have a special affinity for the YWCA
Yes,
here in
quite a
Hamilton.
few,
That's one of many, I'm
yes,
sure.
one of many, Empowerment Squared, Hamilton Chamber of Commerce, the Hamilton Foundation for Student Success, there are quite a few.
So you have many passions.
Yeah, St. Matt's, love St. Matt's. Oh my goodness, yeah.
So
I could give you a long list.
How do you find the time in the day, Lohifa?
Honestly, I think when you love what you do, you always just make time, right? I've learned not to bite more than I can chew.
Have
right?
you though?
Oh, I'm 41, honey.
You're a baby. You are a baby. But
old enough to know my limits.
Well,
yeah?
that's good.
Old
No,
enough
listen. Some individuals do not ever define those limits or those boundaries.
I
for
was
themselves.
getting to be that person. And
Yeah.
I have good friends. I have great family. My mom, my dad, they offer me a lot of guidance.
To rein it in.
They definitely are very vocal about me being organized and me not overstretching myself and extending myself and me being grounded. And so I always listen.
Good.
I always listen, yeah.
Yeah, see, the familia part
Yes, of course,
is so
of course,
important.
yes.
Right?
And my husband too, he's great, and he's like, honey, sit down.
Good.
I was like, yes, sir.
And you listen.
For 5 minutes.
Well, 5 minutes is better than 0 minutes.
Agreed.
So that is really important.
Yeah.
And I like to hear that you have figured out how to, because I always get asked that question, how do you balance it all? And I
think it's always a work in progress,
Yes.
right? You never just get to that point where you feel like I got this on lockdown, I think I'm still learning and fine-tuning, my ways of being efficient, right? And that's what I focus on, just the efficiency of it all, right? And I think if you remain open to those adjustments as necessary, you'll be fine. I don't expect to ever get to the place where I feel like I've honed it in completely, because life is always changing.
Exactly.
And we're always evolving. So there will always be a need to adjust. And I hope to always remain malleable to adjust, as long as it's a positive adjustment.
Right. And you're paying attention to what your needs are on top of that.
Listening to your body.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that, because there's a
course.
lot of people, I'm not
Yes,
going to
I
say
know.
just women.
People struggle with
People
that.
struggle.
Women struggle mostly because we carry on a lot, but people generally struggle with that a lot. And a good way to get out of that struggle is just to learn to say no. And no is a full sentence. No period.
Yeah, you
No
learned it.
Oh, I did. Oh, I definitely did. I was a yes girl for a very long time. And you realize at the end of the day that often when you say yes to others, it's a no to yourself.
That's a hard
It is.
realization.
Yeah,
to
it
come
is.
to.
So I learned to choose me sometimes, and that's okay to be a bit selfish sometimes. Yeah,
And
because if I'm not good, if I don't have my oxygen mask, how am I going to help you?
Bingo. There you go. I've had this conversation many times on the show. You have to take care of yourself.
For sure.
And I like to reposition the selfish to be self-aware, self-loving, right? And it sounds like you've struck a balance.
For sure. Definitely.
For sure.
Definitely.
So we still get to benefit from all the things that you do as a community here in the Hamilton area.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
So let's get into, there's so much, and we only have so much time on the show. But the political side, so the community is the foundation.
100%.
Relationships, you and I have that in
100%.
common.
Yes,
we
absolutely.
value.
Relationships are so important to me.
Yes. So my friend,
Yes.
what on earth propelled you to want to be? No, you are a leader. To want to take your leadership skill set
into
to
politics,
our municipal
government
here in the Hamilton area. And there's no criticism anywhere.
Right.
That is not what I'm saying. But
Right.
that is a big hat to put on one's
for
head.
sure, absolutely.
So you ran in the by-election.
In the by-election, yes, last year.
in 2025.
In 2025, yes.
Again, what possessed you? What motivated you? What you laugh, but there's something that
The Holy
obviously-
Spirit.
You got a message.
Say amen, Jordan, arms and knees.
Jordan, that's Jordan. Okay, so honestly, what was it? This was your next.
Yeah, so I had no plans to run. I always start there. I had absolutely no plans to run. When John Paul Danko, who was my councillor in Ward 8, decided to run federally, we knew that there was going to be an opening, likely, because he has quite a stronghold on the mountain, I must say. And the chances of him winning the election were very high. And so right away I knew that there was going to be an opening, and I was interested in seeing what steps the city would take, because often when it's just about a year to election year, they would appoint someone to take care of the ward in the interim and then wait till election year for people to vote. But council actually voted to have a by-election and not appoint someone.
That's impressive.
And so we found, good. Love the democratic process, absolutely, and the engagement that therein as well.
Very important.
Very, very
in
important.
City, yeah.
And it was, I think it was a good decision, expensive decision, but good. You got to invest if you want returns.
Yeah.
And so it was good for me. I felt it was good because it was an early start to the conversations that we will be having now, and for the rest of this year as we build out the elections and as people turn up as candidates to seek office. And so I was excited to see who was going to step up to run and who wanted to be the councillor of Ward 8. I've lived in Ward 8 all my Hamilton life since I came to this town in 2012. My first home was in Ward 8. We purchased in Ward 8. I'm raising my family in Ward 8. And so this literally is my backyard. Yeah. And so I was paying close attention, and I believe we got to about 15 candidates that had put their names forward, and I started to be concerned because I didn't feel the confidence in any of those candidates. And we got to 20, and I was even more concerned because, of course, I was seeing names of previous councillors and MPs and, people who had opportunity to lead in government and who, by all accounts, have got us to where we are in Hamilton, which is not where we should be. And so for me, it was this culture of rinsing, repeating, and recycling that irks me. And I said, okay, well, absolutely not. Let's keep watching. We got to 20, and then I was like, okay, what are we going to do here? Because I'm typically very vocal about leadership.
And I can feel it from you.
Yeah.
Like you were feeling that this wasn't right.
I was.
In your mind.
Absolutely. I was not happy with the representation and the lack thereof that I saw on the lists of candidates that had come forward. And at that point in time, I started to get really concerned because there was nobody that I felt I could get behind. And as a result, I was losing excitement in the process. And because it's a by-election, people are generally uninterested.
Wow. Turnout, right? Voter turnout. Yeah.
Yes, our civic engagement is weak.
How do we change that, Lohifa?
Well, we start here,
okay.
right? We start by talking about
yes.
it. We start by understanding how important municipal politics are.
But you'll hear people say, and I'm sure you did door to door because you canvassed door to door. And we'll
girl,
get to the part where you actually decided to throw your hat. But when people say, "Oh, I can't make change anyway," what's your response? My vote's not going to matter. What's your response to that, Lohifa?
Well, I say it absolutely does, because your indecision is a decision, right? If you don't take a step, someone will take it for you, and it will not be to your benefit, right? I think everybody's voice matters. You have needs in your life that speak to you, and why not go represent those needs at the ballot box? It's so important. So you absolutely make a difference. Even if it's not your desired outcome at the end of the day, the fact that you put your voice forward, that is admirable. It's a win. No one should shy away from that for any reason. Absolutely not. Yeah,
well said.
Thank you.
So you didn't shy away from it.
No,
20
not at all.
people in, and you decide to throw your hat into the mix.
I was 22. I was hoping I'd be 21. Shout out to Simone Lawrence. Love Simone. He was number 21. I was hoping I'd be 21, and I could tease Simone and say I'm 21 too. But I came in at number 22. Yes, I was number 22, and we ended up being 26 candidates in that. Yes, that ran. I think it was a record number of candidates in any by-election in Ontario, or maybe Canada. I'm not sure.
Incredible.
But yeah, it was a lot of
And
people.
You did very well, my friend.
I would. My dad says, I love my dad. He's always so positive. My dad said, I tell people that you were the first woman.
There you go. Wow. What's your dad's name?
You came first, Jake.
Jake, good job, Jake.
My dad says, and he just said that to me the other day, and I'm like, Dad, I never thought about it that way.
Because you don't think about things. I get that.
I think we were 3 women on that list.
Crazy.
26 candidates, 3 women. Yeah, my dad says you're the first woman. I'm like, damn right I
That's
am, Daddy.
right.
Let's get it.
Let's get it. So you came out pretty.
Yeah, so I
close
came.
to
I
the
was.
top,
Yeah,
my
I was
friend.
number 4.
Yes.
Yes, and the next person after me was 400 and I believe 12 votes behind me. So there were 4 of us in the ring. Yes, and I made it. Yeah, and I made that decision late because it wasn't a decision, like I said, it wasn't a plan that I had. I just knew at the point where I realized that, I couldn't lean towards anyone who was running. I knew what I could bring in terms of bringing more voices and people into the conversation. My primary goal was to raise awareness of what was possible in Hamilton, what was possible in Ward 8, and really bring that conversation to the forefront. I did that in 2022 through other campaigns, right? I worked on Keenan Loomis's mayoral campaign, I supported some of the other councillors in their campaign. But
Might be doing that again. We'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that. But for me, it was important to focus on leadership, the potential of the city, and the responsibility that we all have as Hamiltonians to move this city forward. And I had to have skin in the game to do that.
Yeah.
I knew it. I couldn't. There was no other way. And so when I realized that, we probably had about a 6-week run time. So I put my name forward. The nominations closed August 8th. I put my name forward August 5th.
Oh, wow.
And then the elections were September 22nd. So we had a few weeks to get things.
I wonder, had you put your name forward sooner, my friend?
I wonder. Yes.
Right?
I think we would have had a strong chance had I gone in on day 1, which was, I think, June 19th.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
so
would have had a strong
you were
chance.
behind some of the OGs,
Yes,
right?
yes,
And I think
yes.
that your outcome is remarkable.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I think also we need a lot more leadership, like the voice, your
sure.
voice for leadership
For
that
sure.
I'm hearing today and that
Right.
I've seen, because I've been watching you for a while,
Aw,
Lohifa.
thank
I
you,
hear
Rebecca.
good things. I feel your energy.
Mm-hmm.
Hamilton is about energy. You talked about the energy when you arrived here. You knew this was the place.
For sure.
We're still small enough,
Yes.
but we're a big enough city.
We've grown so much.
Exactly.
We've grown so much.
We have so much to offer.
So much potential.
You had some pretty big supporters. You had
for
John
sure.
Paul Danko
Absolutely.
endorse you.
Yes, I did.
And another
Yes,
politician.
I had quite a few. Keenan Loomis endorsed me. Lisa Hefner endorsed me. Dr. Gary Warner endorsed me. Dr. Cassia Johnson of Hamilton Health Sciences endorsed me. I had quite a few.
Yes.
I was outside.
And I'm
I
sure
was playing no games.
along the way, you picked up a bigger following.
Yes.
So
we
my
did.
question,
Go
to
for
put
it.
you in the hot seat, do you see anything further politically for yourself down the road?
I stay open. Rebecca, and I'll tell you, we talked about this a little bit. I am interested in leadership. I am interested in service. And that could look like different things at different times. So I stay open. My focus is on Hamiltonians really taking up that mantle to move this city forward. And we all have a role to play. So whatever my role is at any given time, I'm going to step up and I'm going to embrace it fully and wholeheartedly, like with my full chest. And I want other people, I want us to build a culture in this city where that is expected of us and it is realized by us. That's what I want. I want my children to look forward to voting. I've said this for many years, I would love to see a city hall culture where once you turn 18, you come to City Hall and we celebrate you. We have a nice voters party.
What a beautiful idea.
100%, I've always said this. And if I made it into council, I would have done that. I would have done that in Ward 8.
you would have.
100%. Because I think you have to engage young people, you have to be exciting and excitable. You can't bring your ancient ideas and ideologies.
And inclusive.
Oh, very inclusive,
right?
of course.
I think that
Of
young
course.
people, You know what? I dragged my two that were 18 at the time, 18 and 19, to vote.
Good for you.
Yeah, and
Good for you.
I say dragged. They
Good for
came
you.
willingly,
Right.
but I
you-
don't
you-
think
you-
they understood the process
Right.
before because they don't learn about it in school.
Right.
We don't talk about it necessarily. We keep, political
Well, they do
opinions.
learn about it in school, but they don't. They don't approach it as a responsibility. They approach it
yeah.
as a transfer of knowledge.
Well, this is
and
what
they
you
keep
do
it
in Canada.
Optional.
Yeah. And
it's
should,
not
you're right.
optional.
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be deemed
No,
as optional.
no.
So I'm pretty proud of our
Good
kids
for you.
because they
Good
did
for you.
engage and
That's amazing.
they were a little bit nervous.
I can imagine.
Right?
I
So
can imagine. Yeah.
remove that barrier.
For sure.
Right?
You have to. And excitedness is part of inclusivity, right? When you are thinking about other people's perspectives when you're being inclusive. What can this look like to that person? What can this look like to that person? How can I make this person feel that they belong here in this space? And all of those things matter, right? Understanding demographics, understanding race, understanding culture, understanding attitudes and beings. I think it matters so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I agree with you.
You are a leader through and
thank
through,
you.
Lohifa. So the
Thank you
time
so
may not
much.
be now politically, but there
Yes,
there will
I
be
stay
a time.
open. I stay open,
I
you
know
know,
you
I
do,
stay
and
open.
I think that's remarkable. Now we've
Thank
talked a
you.
little bit about youth.
Yes.
You have an annual event that you
Yes,
run
I
every
do,
year, and it
yes.
happens to be around the corner from when we're
Yes.
shooting this podcast.
For sure.
Can you tell us a bit more?
I can tell you about it, absolutely. It's called Excel in Style. We had our inaugural event last year in 2025, and our second year event is happening on March 21st in 2026. I'm very excited about it. It's been a dream of mine for over a decade. When I was styling part-time, I would go out to Toronto to support a program there called Fades and Braids, run by Major Fade. He's a fantastic barber out of Toronto, built a great career in barbering, and this was his opportunity to give back to young people. So he'd gather stylists from all over, and we'd get together at the Boys and Girls Club or at a gym or at a conference center, and we would just style kids for free for back to school. And I would travel out to Toronto to do this, and I knew there was a need in Hamilton, and so I was like, man, we have to do this in Hamilton too. It is so important because when I started my business, I would get referrals to families all the time who couldn't afford to style, and I would support them as best as I could and refer them to other stylists as best as I could. And it was, how do we amplify this to really be present for our community and for our young people, young racialized, young textured hair, young black people, young underserved people? How do we really show up for them? And thankfully, I'm not a shy person, so I do have.
Really?
You couldn't tell, could you?
That's what we love about you most.
Thank you so much. And so I've made quite a few friends in the industry who are stylists and who are barbers. And so I reached out to them and I said, we have to do something because the need is great, but together we are greater. And last year, for the first time at Bernie Custis Secondary School, in support the Hamilton Wentworth District School Board, in partnership is the word I was looking for.
It's okay, it came to
I'm
you.
hungry. This is what happens when
I
I'm
didn't
hungry.
bake you
Words
cookies.
leave me. In partnership with the Hamilton Wentworth District School Board and many community organizations, Clore Beauty Supply, St. Matt's, we came together at Bernie Custis Secondary School. We're 67 stylists and styling assistants, and we had over 500 kids come through the space, over 700 people in total come through the school. We had wraparound supports in STEM, in counseling and psychotherapy, in art and music, and we just styled kids all day. Because Simone Lawrence came through with the Tie Cat mascots.
Amazing.
We had different community leaders come through and share their hair journey. The director of the Hamilton Wentworth District School Board is a black woman with dreadlocks.
Amazing.
Cheryl Robinson Petrozzini, shout out to her.
Absolutely.
She made this possible because she understood the need for identity and belonging. She understood the link between appearance, between hairstyling, between grooming and perspective, perception, performance. And when you look good, you feel good and you do good. And we wanted to be able to give the students that confidence to do that. And so, we styled 287 kids that day. And it was a fun day and it filled our spirits.
They got to look and feel good, but
For
they
sure.
also benefited from interacting with so many community members.
Yes, and just seeing each other. knowing that, you know what, you're not alone.
And seeing themselves.
Seeing themselves, for sure.
Right?
Great point.
How they fit in.
100%.
Right?
And knowing that they're not alone. I mean, I speak about this all the time. You could walk into any salon, Rebecca, and get a stylist that will understand your hair and have the expertise to style your hair. It's not the same for Black people, for racialized people, for anybody with textured hair.
Yeah.
Stylists are not equipped with the knowledge to style textured hair. So it is a specialized skill, unfortunately, because it's also not taught at school here to the degree of service that is required in the community. And so it's how do we make sure that the kids and the young families who are in need of these services are connected with those who have the expertise to support them.
Where to go.
Yeah, so it's multi-part. It's that, but also for those kids who are non-academic, who are interested in the skilled trades, how do we encourage them to embrace it? So we also partner with the Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program, and they support bringing that knowledge and information to the young people as well, to say, hey, if you're not interested in going to become an engineer or a neuroscientist, you can become a hairstylist, you can become a plumber, you can become a craftsman. And guess what? It's a great, viable career with great potential. I know barbers who own 3 homes.
Right? Yeah.
I do. And so it really was about celebrating culture, building up confidence, and strengthening community.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for the opportunity to do this.
Educating each other along the way.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
Sometimes we lose sight of the importance of talking about these things that we do.
For sure.
So this event
is
annual.
It is annual, yes.
If someone wanted to get involved
For
on
sure.
a sponsorship level,
of course,
we're going to put information
Absolutely.
in the
Thank you
show
so
link.
much. And you can follow us on Instagram, Excel in Style, and we have a website coming up, excelinstyle.org.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
So we will make sure we link to
Thank
that.
you so
this
much.
event is March 21st,
2026. Yes, ma'am.
We're going to look forward to the 2027 event too.
We're excited.
And
We're
anyone who wants to become involved
For
is
sure.
welcome to
Yes, we
to
love.
do so.
Last year we had 100 volunteers. We had a wonderful day. We occupy and dominate Bernie Custis Secondary School. Shout out to Narinder Nan in Ward 3. She's the counselor, very supportive. We also had support from the other wards downtown. And while we are based downtown for this experience, kids from all over Hamilton, both school boards come to benefit. The Children's Aid Society, the public and Catholic all come through. And it's just always a great time.
You're building
It's always a great
the
time.
community.
We have to.
Yeah.
It's our duty.
So we could talk for hours more.
Let's do it.
Lohifa.
I have all day.
No, you're hungry. I gotta feed you. You've done so much for the community on behalf of Hamiltonians everywhere. Thank you for
thank
choosing
you.
Hamilton
Thank
to
you.
call home.
Thank you.
Thank you to your parents for making that
you.
decision.
Yeah, it was
as well.
theirs. I
It was
followed
theirs.
suit.
They must be your whole family must be so proud of you,
I'm
as I know you are of them.
I'm grateful
because
for my family. I love my family so much. But I have excellent nuclear family, my parents and my siblings, but my husband and my kids are equally amazing, my in-laws, and then my extended family. I've created
The ones you
by
chose.
God's grace, my
Yeah.
chosen family in this city. Brilliant. They keep me on track, and I'm so grateful for that.
Well, I think that they would say you keep them on
I
track
do.
too. It's the
It's
reciprocity.
mutually beneficial.
And that's what makes you such a beautiful human being
Thank you
and
so
a
much.
fabulous leader.
Thank
and
you
I look
so
forward to
much.
more leadership from you
Thank
in
you so
Hamilton
much.
and maybe beyond.
Maybe
beyond.
beyond. Yes,
I'm going
yes,
to call
yes,
it one day it will be beyond.
Thank you,
I would be
Rebecca.
remiss, Lohifa, if I
Yes.
didn't mention you have been recognized with so many awards and honors, including you were awarded the Young Entrepreneur of the Year Award in
Yes.
2020.
Yeah, the Chamber of
Congratulations.
Commerce, thank you so much.
The Order of Hamilton
Yes.
in 2023.
Yes.
King Charles III Coronation Medal
Yes.
last year
Yes.
in 2025.
Yes.
Yeah. You're
And a few
decorated.
others.
Like there's a few others. Do you want to throw them in?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
them.
There's so many. There's so many.
They're quite a bit.
But again, that is a testament to who you are
Thank you so
as
much.
a citizen of
Thank
this
you so
country,
much.
as a
Thank you.
beautiful human being on this planet. And so I hope that you remember that speaks volumes about what you've done.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm blessed to serve. I'm
You-
blessed to serve.
And that is the way to look at it. I
Thank
hope
you.
that there are people listening today
you.
that reach out and connect with you.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Yes. Follow
And-
me on Instagram at Lohifa.
Yes, and we will put that in the show notes as well. So Lohifa Pogoson Acker, award-winning everything, but most importantly, community leader,
Thank you so
advocate,
much.
builder, entrepreneur, hair artist.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
wonder if you could do something with my texture.
Always
here.
come see me.
Speaker, consultant. You have so many titles.
Thank you so
Mom,
much.
wife,
Yes.
daughter.
Yes.
Also just as
Friend.
important.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing this space with us
Thank
today.
you for having me.
We are so much better
I'm
because
so
of you.
grateful. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. This was fun. Bring me back.
Leadership doesn't happen all at once. It begins with awareness, with passion, often too, not in Lohifa's case, but often too with fear. The discomfort we often feel isn't weakness, it's insight. So remember that. When we approach our experiences with the curiosity that these experiences deserve, instead of judgment, we can grow stronger, more grounded, and more intentional in how we lead ourselves and also how we lead others. If this episode resonated with you, trust that you are evolving. From self-awareness comes strength, from strength comes impact, and from that comes this. With love.